Hey there, I'm Bria Jones with the Bulb Care team. And one of the most popular questions that I get is how do I best introduce bulb to my students? So that's what we're going to cover today, talking about some of those best practices and how we can focus on that number one um, point about building ownership in the learning process. We want students to take ownership of their portfolios, to add content from their academic work, but to also add other things over and beyond assignments that they have in the classroom. And so let's look at how to really get them off to a great start. So a couple things as you step into launching Bulb into your classroom that I want to consider is the first one being how are your students going to create accounts and log in? And this could look different depending on how we have you set up. If you're one of our Bulb Ed customers and you have a customer success manager, they'll be working alongside of you to help you with any account provisioning and rostering. If you are one of our partners or using Bulb for free, then you might be just creating accounts potentially just off our website or using our org sign up links as well. And what's really great in thinking about how to get set up beyond just creating those accounts is all the resources that Bulb has available to help you along the way. So I'm going to highlight a few key things and then also show you all of those great resources so that you feel easily equipped and able to get started as soon as possible. The first resource here is our Let's Get Started resource. And in this collection, we have a lot of great information, including how to create that account. So here we have a short video that you can watch and some tips around using that org sign up link or being able to log in. It's really important for your students and for you to be really familiar with what you're going to do so that account creation process goes very quickly and smoothly in the very beginning. And as soon as you know how you're going to proceed, it is really easy to be able to get set up. Also in this collection is some information around for teachers, just an intro webinar about learning Bulb and being familiar. So if you haven't already gotten just oriented with the platform and the vocabulary, this might be a great video for you to watch. And then there's a Bulb's tips handout on here that you could print as well, just kind of highlighting some of the key things and vocabulary within the platform. And on this page, if you just click this arrow, this will open this up in a new page. Let's try that again. And I'm sorry, in a new tab here. And then you can easily print this document from that tab. Let me go back to the collection. We also have the student portfolio lesson, as well as how Bulb can support you, how you can access our help center, our email, our chat. Schedule a one-on-one if you have any questions. We have a whole team that could walk you through on Zoom, any questions that you might have. Great YouTube videos, our resource center of case studies, templates, examples, and then social media is a great place to follow us to get tips and ideas. And then our Bulbhead community, as you start to become a user, you can join our Bulbhead community among other educators who are using portfolios and get great ideas, updates, and be a part of that great community. So I'm going to go back to the student portfolio lesson here. And this is probably one of our most popular resources in terms of getting started with Bulb. Here's a lesson that is completely created directly to help you introduce Bulb to your students. So this is actually a printable PDF lesson here, and you'll see the duration is between 1 or 2 classes. It has about 40 minutes of video content. And then there is a playlist and an activity that goes along with each section. And the lesson plan is divided out. It really starts with having the students understand the purpose and the benefits of a portfolio. And I think that's really important, that you don't just introduce it as a tech tool, that you come in and you really help them understand why this is something important to them, that you emphasize the point that they get to take this with them and this is their portfolio to tell their story. So that lesson here and activity, there's a Padlet that they can post on within here. You could create your own activities around some brainstorming and discussion. And then the other key thing that I think gets students really motivated is showing them what is a portfolio through a bunch of examples of other students. So we actually have an entire page that walks them through that as well. So here's the teacher lesson side that you can look at. And then the student lesson here, each page inside this collection is one part of the process. So you can simply copy this URL and paste that into your learning management system and have the students walk through this on their own and watch the video and then do each activity. It's also set up where you could do this with the students in class, show the video, and then have them do the particular activity. So I just want to show you what this looks like. What is a portfolio here? So this is the Padlet, and we've embedded it right into the Bulb page, and you'll see different students have posted their ideas of the purpose of a portfolio. And the student just clicks on that pink plus button right there, and they can add a post to this Padlet. And then there's also another Padlet that asks the question, what can you put in a Bulb portfolio? And so you'll see they can view other students' answers and then put their own answers in as well. And then the activity has them watch this video that really speaks to students in terms of why they would want this portfolio and what they can do with it. And then there's a list of student portfolios where they can explore some of those as well. Hi there, I'm Bria Jones with the Bulb Care team. And one of the most common questions I get is, how do I best introduce Bulb to students? And it's a great question. And Bulb has a ton of resources to help you be able to do that well. And so I'm going to walk you through some of those best practices and those resources today. So the number one thing that we really need to think about is we want students to understand the purpose of their portfolio and take ownership in the learning process and ownership in this portfolio. Remember, one of the key things that you can remind your students about is that Bulb is something that goes with them. This is the portfolio that no matter where they go to their next class, to the next school, graduate on to their professional endeavors, they can continue to use Bulb and build their portfolio. So let's take a look at some of these great resources. And one of our most popular resources is our Let's Get Started collection. And this collection has everything that you need to get oriented and start using Bulb in the classroom. And so it starts with just a basic Meet the Bulb page, walking you through what is Bulb and why are portfolios important. And then you have information about how you as a teacher can create your own account and try some things out. There's a page that has a Bulb for Beginners video and a printable handout that helps orient you with Bulb and how you might want to use it. Our most popular part of the Let's Get Started is our student portfolio lesson. And so I want to walk you through that. When you open it up, it has two parts. It has the teacher lesson plan and then the actual student lesson. So you can open up the teacher lesson plan here. And this is a printable document. And it talks about how this lesson is created. The duration is about 1 to 2 classes. There's 40 minutes of video content. So you don't have to be the one teaching Bulb and all the ins and out. You can use our short video clips along with particular activities to help get students excited and engaged in starting their Bulb portfolios. And so you'll notice that it divides out all the different activities and tells you the videos and the lengths of them all in that lesson plan. Now for the student lesson here, it's really designed to be able to use it in a variety of ways. You can simply take the URL to this lesson collection right here and post that in your learning management system. And then students can actually go through each page of this, watch the video, and do the activity that's listed right after the video. And so they can do this on their own, self-paced. You could also open up these pages in class and show the video and then do the activity together as well. So I just want to show you what a couple of these look like. The best way to get started with introducing Bulb to your students is to help them think about the purpose and the kinds of things that they're going to be putting in their portfolio. And so this has a Padlet embedded into Bulb where the students could come directly to this page and click on the pink plus button here and actually add content directly to this Padlet. What is the purpose of a portfolio? And actually be able to view other students' posts around what they think the purpose is. There's a second Padlet, what can you put in a Bulb portfolio, that they can add to as well. And there's a bunch of great examples here from other students and some example pages as well. And then you can have, after they start to brainstorm, you can have the students watch this video that's curated specifically to talk to students and show them some examples of the power of portfolios. And then I think the most important part of this lesson is to really have students explore other students' portfolios and start to take notice of the things that they like about what those other students did with those portfolios. And so there's a list of all different students and their portfolios listed on this page, and the students can go and click and view that and write down the things that they like the most about it. The next page is really about logging in and creating your account. And because this looks different for different classes and for different schools, if you're a Bulb Ed customer, we may be rostering and you are logging in maybe with ClassLink or with single sign-on with Google. You may be using an org sign-up link. If you're one of our free users and giving Bulb a try, you might be creating accounts via the website. So this kind of walks you through those basic methods, has a quick little video about how to create a Bulb account and some tips around it. This is something that you want to make sure that you're really clear about before you introduce to students, because the account creation or logging in should be super, super simple. Just make sure you're really clear around how you're supposed to be accessing Bulb. And if you need any help or have any questions around that, you can always email help@bulbapp.com and we're happy to give you any directions. And then the next part of the lesson really has a short walkthrough of just terminology and navigation in Bulb. There is a handout that students can access digitally or print with some frequently asked questions. So hopefully if the questions that we might get from other teachers, we've put in this FAQ. And so we're trying to answer those ahead of time so that you feel equipped if a student runs into any issues, that you can help them kind of overcome that. And this is in that student lesson. So the students have the ability to overcome and answer those questions from themselves using this resource. Then the next lesson is really about personalizing your portfolio and the tips around how to pick a great banner image and avatar, what to say in your description. And then this is the activity for them. They're going to upload their own banner photo, avatar, and description, and then add a personal email to settings so they can take Bulb with them to life. And so this is how it's really structured. Short video, watch it, and then quick activity to do following that video. The next part is to learn how to copy a template, and they'll watch that video. And then this is set up for them to copy either an About Me or a My Favorite Thing template and create their first page, and the next videos will walk them through adding multimedia and then publishing their page. And so they're going to learn that starting with a template. If you have a different template that you would want them to use, you could assign that to them as well and have them be able to use that template instead of one of these. One of the big things that I would say is when you're introducing technology, you want students to have a lot of fun. and you want them to be excited about the tool, and being able to personalize and pick pictures in their profile is really fun. And then that my favorite thing page or an about me page is usually really exciting to students, being able to find ways to talk about themselves or to find really cool pictures and videos and things around something that's their favorite. And so that might be a really great first activity to start with. I won't go through all the rest of the pages, but they'll learn everything from creating and editing a page to publishing to how to use collections and organize their portfolios as well. So in my tips in terms of items to consider as you're getting going, that Let's Get Started collection with that student lesson in it is a great first start in helping to introduce Bulb. I would also just remind you to think about these questions. We already kind of talked about making sure that you know how they're going to log in and access their accounts, or if they need to create their own accounts, or if the accounts have already been created for them and they just have to log in. Then I want you to also think about, will you be using groups or a learning management system along with Bulb? And we have a lot of different videos and support resources around this, but this will help you know if you are going to use a group in Bulb, you'll need to set that up ahead of time and then have students join your group via that group code. Or if maybe you're one of our Bulb Ed schools that have some rostering, those groups might have already been created. And maybe you want to go in and make sure that the name is appropriate for the group and familiar to students, and maybe even add a picture to that group circle icon. And then if you're using a learning management system, probably watch one of our videos on how to use Bulb with your learning management system. And a lot of our videos also have a student version so that the students can know how to turn in or submit individual Bulb pages to you through that learning management system. And that's mentioned in that student lesson as well. The other big thing that you're wanting to really think about is, how do you want students to publish their content? So if they're going to create an About Me page, or they're going to do an assignment for you within Bulb, do you want them publishing it directly to you? Are they going to be using the learning management system and publishing via a private share link? Being really clear about those instructions in terms of how you want them to publish is really going to help you be successful. And if you have any questions around that, we have a lot of videos and resources around how to publish in our help center. And you can always reach out to us at help@bulbapp.com and we can help you clarify any questions you have. The other thing is, when students are getting started with their portfolios, there's an organizational structure to it. And you'll see a lot of examples. Here's one. In terms of what you're putting in your portfolio and maybe what collections you're creating. So this would be something to think about ahead of time. Are there certain things that you want to make sure your students do from an organizational perspective? Maybe you're an English teacher and you want them to create a collection for all the writing they're doing in your class, or you want them to start collecting certain kinds of activities that they're doing that's going to attach to their resume. Depending on the purpose of how you're getting started with those portfolios, you might have some ideas of the things that you're going to expect the students to have. And so thinking about that ahead of time, and then considering, do you want to use our template feature? Now remember, templates work for both collections and pages. So if you have like 3 collections that you want all of your students in your class to have, you could make those 3 collections a template and the students could copy those and start with those. They could also easily create those same 3 collections on their own without using a template. So those are just kind of either way. And this also depends on the age of the student. I would say the younger the students, the more important those templates become, because it's less clicking and creating for them. As they get older, sometimes they like to have a little bit more control. So you kind of know your students and how well they can follow directions and kind of execute what you need. The other great thing about Bulb is that it's really easy to go back and reorganize and add additional collections. So you might just want to start with a few pages, and then eventually you guys work up to figuring out how you want to create collections and organize your work. Remember, everything on Bulb is drag and drop, so it makes it really easy to just get started and start creating some pages and then figure out that organization later on as well. I will say though, at least starting with one template in terms of the first page that they're creating, or giving them a collection, templates can be really helpful in getting you over the hump of that blank slate approach. So sometimes just seeing a blank page or seeing a blank profile, students lose vision in terms of what this is going to look like. And I think those examples help them, but those templates are really a great step. We have hundreds of templates in our resource library. And of course, we have that My Favorites page and About Me page template in that student lesson. So that can help you get started as well. And just to remind you again, whenever you're introducing new technology, whether it's Bulb or anything else, you want students to feel excited and have a little bit of fun, because sometimes learning new vocabulary and just how to navigate a system can be really boring. So figure out ways for students to be able to enjoy the personalization of their portfolio, to be able to do something that's interesting to them. They're learning how to add different kinds of media and things into a page. So if they're creating a My Favorites page, encourage them to find videos and memes and GIFs and personal things off maybe off their phones to be able to bring into their portfolio and really be able to have a lot of fun and express that and share it with each other, and be able to bring that excitement and introducing this new product that's going to be their portfolio for life. The other thing is just reiterating some of the terminology. There's an entire page in that student collection around terminology, but these terms are not any special words, just kind of knowing how to reference certain parts of the portfolio correctly will help everyone be on the same page as you guys kind of work forward. So some of our key terminology is profile, template, publishing, collection, pages, and groups. So that Let's Get Started guide with that student portfolio lesson and how to create an account, we walked through that. The last thing I wanted to show you is our YouTube channel is a really great resource in short videos. We have like 10 to 30-second videos. We have a little bit longer webinars, like the kinds of trainings that I'm doing now, as well as other content within our YouTube channel. We also have a Bulb student introduction lesson. All the videos that are on that student Bulb pages are also listed in a YouTube list. So you could use this right directly in your class, or pick out one of these videos if you want to use that to work with students as well. So we have an entire student introduction playlist within our YouTube channel. Well, thank you guys all for your time today. I hope that helped inspire you and make you feel a lot more comfortable in terms of all the resources that you have and some best practices in getting Bulb introduced to your students. If you ever have any questions, you can always reach out to us at help